I feel like the craziest part of this whole Renee Nicole Good situation is that this lady is white. I'm not gonna bother going through the context of this whole situation. You've definitely seen the video and you've seen the body cam footage from 1,000 different angles. ICE murdered that soccer mom, right? Like, we know that. But it's kind of obvious already that this is going to be like the new is the dress gold or black question, because no matter who sees the video, you get one of two answers and they're divided very much on party lines. And it's funny because when I watched the video, I could actually see what the other side was saying, right? Not because it is legally permissible to shoot a driver that's trying to escape from you, but more I was viewing it in like the context of police culture in America. Because me, as a black guy, right, knows that if you do anything but lay your hands on the steering wheel while cops are surrounding your car, you're signing a death warrant. But again, that's me as a black guy, right? Like, police break the laws when it comes to minorities all the time. So regardless of what the law is, you know that if you're black and you do anything to not comply with the police, that everyone's gonna automatically assume that you got what was coming to you, right? That's why I'm saying it's like the fact that Renee Nicole Good is white and they're still sticking to the story is the part that's really scary for me. And don't get me wrong, white people's lives, black people's lives, Mexican people's lives, like, they're all equal, right? Like, every life has the same level of value to me and probably to you too, right? If you clicked on this video. But in the eyes of the law, they are not remotely comparable, like, whatsoever. When a crime is enacted against a white person, or especially a white woman, people will move heaven and earth to make sure that that shit never happens again. Like, white female child is abducted, Amber Alert. White woman is assaulted and killed by a Venezuelan immigrant, the Laken Riley Act. So regardless of the political will, a white woman like Renee Nicole Good, regardless of the fact that she's a lesbian, should cause immediate political backlash. America loves a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman. But instead, before her body was even cold, right? Like, they didn't even bury her yet, right? They already started with the, oh, well, you know, she was a domestic terrorist. Which is nuts, right? Have you ever met a domestic terrorist, dog? Does this look like a domestic terrorist to you? A domestic terrorist looks like the KKK, right? Like, do you really think that she has that level of danger to America? Of course not. And, you know, JD Vance was repeating that shit. He went to Yale. He knows that she's not a domestic terrorist. He just knows that that would give them enough cover to continue with their Nazi shit. And that sends a very powerful message to the rest of us, right? It basically says that anybody could get it. This is EBK. Everyone's on the fucking menu. And not only is everyone on the menu, but like, we will go hyperdrive to make sure that we destroy your reputation right at your most vulnerable, while you're literally dead, right? While you're literally dead. Picture this, right? Not only are they not going to investigate the ICE agent that shot this lady, right? Not even press charges, just literally just investigate, right? Or allow the local Minnesota State Police to investigate. But the Trump administration, the DOJ, is actually advising the state prosecutors to look into Renee Nicole Good's wife. So the victim and the victim's family is gonna face a higher level of accountability than the dude that literally fucking shot her. Now, this led to mass resignations. I guess that's good. I would have preferred if they kept their ethics in the organization. But it's really saying something, especially since like these aren't like blue-haired liberals, right? Like, the main guy that quit actually was looking into Minnesota's fraud. So he is actually helping Trump's agenda. And even him was like, I don't know, man, that's a little too far. And the last point that I'm trying to make here is that, yo, if they're doing this to white ladies, right? Nice little soccer moms, Christian missionaries, right? Pepperballing priests in the face while they got the collar on. What do you think they're gonna do to the brown people, right? What do you think they're gonna do when there's nobody watching? There is a video with indisputable proof that that guy shot her for no reason. And that means nothing. That means nothing. It means nothing. Also, Trump has a very powerful skill. He has the power to corrupt everyone around him. He's like the fucking Tarlok from Legend of Korra, right? Like, any spirit that comes into contact with his becomes a dark shadow of itself. These Trump supporting people base their whole reality around him, base their whole identity around him. They're too deep in this to completely divest from him. So Donald Trump is effectively laying the groundwork to be like, okay, we can murder whoever we want, right, guys? And then I imagine some Republicans are gonna be like, all right, guys, that's too much for me. But the vast majority are gonna be like, fuck it, yo. Fuck it. Why can't Trump just murder us? Fuck it. What does it matter? And I think especially with like the white population of the United States, that is also going to escalate things because it's going to make people even less so than they are already view their own family members, their own children as part of the opposition, the enemy. To be fair, people on the left have been viewing their own Republican family members as the enemy for a much longer time, especially if you saw the writing on the wall that he's going to try to do this authoritarian takeover that he's attempting currently. But before, in my opinion, like the Republicans are like, oh, how come my grandkids don't want to talk to me anymore? But now, instead of Trump being like, oh, your liberal family, they're just stupid, I'm gonna make them cry. But now it's like, your liberal family that doesn't agree with you, they're enemies of the state, and I'm gonna throw them in alligator Alcatraz. And this, as crazy as this might sound, right? Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. I truly believe that Trump supporters love Donald Trump more than their own family, anyone in their community. Because Trump supporters suffer as well, right? The same feeling that you get when you're in mixed company and you want to shit on Donald Trump, but you don't really know if someone around you is gonna get offended and butthurt and shit. Trump supporters feel that way more than you do, right? Like there's less of them than there are of us. Trump supporters are used to losing friends, losing family, losing people around them's respect for worshiping a fucking pedophile. And now that Trump is having literal Gestapo go door to door and locking people up, those feelings are only going to be intensified. And the people in the middle are going to slowly get shaved off, right? And look, a lot of creators online are trying to hype you up like, yo, civil war. It's gonna be a goddamn civil war. And they're saying that because it's true. I mean, like, it's kind of true. The first civil war was half the country wants to leave behind the racist ways of the past, the authoritarian ways of the past. And then the other half of American society benefits from it so greatly that they've tied their whole identities around it. But unlike the original civil war, I would say like the more progressive side is the one that's states' rights. The states' rights to hold their own elections, the states' rights to have their own law enforcement. And Trump is just kind of trampling all over that, right? It's like, oh, I'm the president, therefore the federal government needs to be supreme in the United States. If Donald Trump was like a governor or some shit, he'd be like, oh, we need to overthrow the federal government, right? He just wants power for himself. And obviously, I hope it doesn't come down to violence between the two political sides. I don't advocate for that necessarily. But if it comes down to that, I'll see y'all out there. Which side are you gonna be on, right? Oh.